Hi. Yeah. 3 guesses why we're a little late this morning. It rhymes with schmazy. Grandma is not feeling 100%, so I am. We've got to deal with the madam on our own today.
What?
Yeah, you little menace.
What?
Yeah,
For those of you who haven't yet met my granddaughter,
my daughter.
that's
Daisy.
Daisy.
This is Daisy Hadfield right here. Daisy Maltin Hadfield. I like to say the smallest Maltin, aka the Smallton. That is our loving nickname for you, Days. And your daddy's texting me and saying that every single flight seems to be canceled everywhere, and that's why he can't come home today. My husband has been away a lot traveling for work, a lot. And he is, unfortunately, as he's texting me right now, flights are canceled. He's in Montana for work, but he's saying that everything is just canceled all over the place. Ay. We don't get daddy back today. Womp womp. You want to go down? You want to just chew on your hand for a while? That's good too. Daisy. What'd you do? She's been eating her entire hand recently. I don't know if she's hungry. I'm not. Oh, don't take. That was my chapstick. It's gone now, but it was my chapstick. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. How are you all doing? We are, crazed as usual, thanks to her. As I say, my husband's been away a lot, so it's all of us just doing our best not to lose our minds as we deal with the tiny menace, as I lovingly call her. That's a place to put. Oh, we're going to pull the books.
No.
Let's not pull the books off the shelf. They say this is the majority of our day has been going, Daisy, no. You have a particularly cute one, which is just we'll hear you from a distance going, Daisy, and it kind of, yeah. You want one of those? You can have one of those if you want it. That's fine. Hello. Oh, you're in Brazil. Hello, Anna in Brazil. How beautiful. How wonderful for you. Yeah, Maltin. Smallest Maltin. If you put Maltin and small together, you get Smalton. Hi, Rachel. Hi, Rose. Daisy, a nice lady named Rose is saying hello from another flower. Isn't that nice? Daisy's like, I don't know what you people are talking about. I'm just going to eat snacks, which frankly is a pretty solid way to live your life. Hi, Kevin. Leonard, I enjoyed seeing you on the recent show looking at the geeky 1982 films. Yes, our friend Scott Mantz. Sit up straight, Leonard.
Yes.
Our friend Scott Mantz did this great documentary and asked you to be a part of it.
Multi-part documentary.
And it's on the CW. It's called, is it The Geekiest Year? 1982, The Geekiest Year, something like that. Let me see. It premiered Saturday night.
Say last night.
Yes. Yeah. 1982, Greatest Geek Year Ever is what it's called. But it's going to continue on the CW, which I'm so pleased that it got a station like that.
Yeah.
Big and popular. Do you ever watch Gene Kelly and Singing in the Rain? Of course. It's one of the best things that exists. Oh, hi. Welcome back. Hi, Trouble. Just a troublemaker. Do you see? Oh, you're going to touch it? Of course you are. Hang on. You see yourself? Whoop. Let's not touch. Hi. Ooh. Ooh.
If our transmission should be interrupted,
it's because Daisy
at
pulled
any
the plug
time
somewhere.
Today, yeah.
Wow.
You'll know the reason why.
Happy Sunday, Maltons. Greetings from Germany. Hello, Ludwig in Germany. My question, Andreas Deja's short film Mushka premiered in April. Have you already watched the film?
Tuesday night.
But you have seen versions of it.
Well, I've seen footage from it, drawings from it.
Andreas had you and several of our other friends over, God, it's maybe 2 years ago, a year, something like that, to watch sort of a rough cut of it. And it's been his baby. Our friend Fabrizio did the music for it. And yeah, it's absolutely a wonderful project.
Can't wait to see the finished product.
Yeah, I'm sure it's beautiful. Andreas is so talented. And this really is his baby. He's worked so hard on it. And so many of our other friends have joined.
He's a master of the pencil.
Yeah. proudly.
Pencil, not just hand drawn with
Yeah.
a sharpened pencil,
Yeah.
like his hero Milt Kahl, one of the famous Disney 9 old men, the great masters of personality animation. And I think he even has Milt Kahl's desk.
Yeah, it's something
Yeah.
like that. We interviewed him not long ago for our podcast. So if you're fans of Andreas's work or animation in general, you can learn a bit about him. Yes, Richard Sherman wrote a song. Our beloved Richard wrote a song. Of course he did, because he's Richard. And again, it's a very small, I was about to say it's a small world. It's very funny sort of how it's a really small world of friendship, and there are so many people who've worked together for such a long time. Richard is a giver anyway.
Yeah.
But it doesn't surprise me in the slightest that he would be excited to take part in this. And I know he worked on that also with Fabrizio.
Right.
I love our Richard. We're supposed to have lunch with him soon, but he's a busy man, is the truth of it. He's a busy
In his
guy.
mid-90s, he's in demand.
I know.
We should all be so fortunate.
Right? Has Leonard been asked to join the Laurel and Hardy podcast? Are you looking forward to the new year one, 1927? Laurel and Hardy Blu-ray out next month from Serge Bromberg.
Can't wait to see the Blu-ray. Although I'll get a preview of it next weekend
Daisy!
at the San Francisco Silent Film Festival,
Come here. Hey,
where they're going to be
fussy fuss.
screening some of the
Hey.
prints
Hey.
that
You want some
were
milk?
used on that Blu-ray.
Yeah, there's water. Do you want milk? Yeah? You want some milk? Yeah? Okay. We're going to have some milk. Yes, my mom and dad are leaving Wednesday to go to San Francisco for the Silent Film Festival. You haven't been in a little bit, but it's one of your favorites.
Oh,
and
yeah.
How could it not be?
And this may be, not to be a doomsday sort, but this may be the last time it can be held in the Castro Theater.
Yeah, we'll see what happens
Because
there.
they've lost the fight. They're going to be the new owners are going to be able to take out the seats. So events can still take place. Well, it's going to be an event space.
Yeah, just different.
But it'll be different.
Yeah.
But we're going to enjoy it. We're going to soak up the atmosphere.
See all your friends.
As much as
All your little
humanly
friends.
possible. Yes.
Well, it's funny because you're going to see one set of friends this week, and then the following week is Comic-Con. So
In San Diego.
that's where you'll be getting together with all of your animation nerd friends, which will be wonderful, including Keith Scott. I'm so excited that Keith is coming. I
From
can't
down
wait
under.
to see him from Australia. I haven't seen him in years and years now. You guys are all on a panel together. You and Jerry's on
Yeah.
the Saturday
Yep.
panel. Mark Evanier has put together, as usual, some brilliant animation panels with just the best of the best of the best. He's doing Quick Draw, of course, which
Right.
is always so much fun. I hope we can go. This small person dictates obviously what I do. Thankfully, my husband will be there, so hopefully I'll be able to see some stuff if she lets me. Yeah, are you excited for Comic-Con? This is your second Comic-Con, Daisy. She's not 2, and this will be her second Comic-Con.
Yep.
Which is very exciting.
She was on the exhibition floor last year.
Yeah, oh God, yeah. She couldn't walk yet. So what's going to be really interesting this year is having a walking toddler at Comic-Con. I do have a leash. I have not put the leash on her yet. I've not tried the leash, but I thought for the safety of everyone, might as well get a leash. And in her case, it looks like a little butterfly harness. So it looks less like I've attached a dog leash to my child, though essentially I have attached a dog leash to my child. But if it means we don't lose her, solid reasoning. Is that the Jungle Book Disney musical he's helping with still happening? Yeah, as far as we know.
As far as, I haven't heard any
been
word to the
working on
contrary.
it. No, he's been working on it, and it's wonderful. Have you visited the Disneyland auction in Burbank?
Not
no.
yet.
Oh, the lovely folks. We know everybody at Van Eaton. We've known them for
Van Eaton
ever.
Galleries. Van Eaton Galleries, now of Studio City.
Yes, it
Formerly of Sherman Oaks.
moved several blocks down. But we've known the Van Eatons forever. They are really incredible people who do what they do so well.
Yeah.
And they've put out this display of Disney stuff. They're using a former Bed Bath & Beyond at the Burbank Mall to show it off.
Burbank Town Center Mall, I think it's called.
There's no other mall in Burbank.
No,
There's just the one.
it's just the one.
You can't go to another one because there's only one there. It's different if you want to go to the AMC. There are 3. This is a very LA thing, but I joke about it. There are 3 AMC movie theaters in a row in Burbank. And they're literally a block away from each other, mostly just by parking lots. And so when you would plan with a friend back before we had cell phones to go see a movie, you had to be really specific. Are we going to the one in the mall? Are we going to the one next to the mall? Or are we going to the big guy who's just to the right of the mall? Because otherwise you will end up in the wrong theater. I just love that. I mean, and it must work because they're still open.
All
3 are still open.
Operating. So
it must be a successful thing.
Yeah.
We joke the one in the mall is where you'd always find the 13 and 14-year-olds making out. So I avoided that one at all costs. Can I borrow my hand for a second? Thank you.
Anyway, this collection that Mike Van Eaton and his,
Fantastic
and his
collection.
team are about to auction off is supposed to be quite spectacular.
Yeah.
And we're looking forward to seeing it. The last time they did this, they took over a store right near us here in Sherman
Down the
Oaks,
street, and
it was like going to Disneyland.
that it was called That's from Disneyland.
Yeah.
And it was Richard Kraft, and we actually got to do a live podcast
That's
from
right.
it with Floyd Norman.
Yeah.
Which was wonderful. We love Floyd.
Floyd, veteran animator.
Yep.
at Disney.
And it was just a blast. And with this one, they actually invited us to see it early, but we've just been busy. So hoping to get over there soon before the actual auction happens. And Richard Kraft was there the other day to look at it, and he said it felt like he was visiting his old house. 1 second. I have also a question for you, two Laurel and Hardy experts. He's the expert. I just love them. I heard that Frank Tashlin worked with the guys for a short time. Do you know how they got along with him?
No, I do not. I do not.
And there you go. Yeah, I mean, so many people work together. It's really kind of amazing when you see just when people are at the same studio. To think of all the people who were at the same studios at the same times. People who were a stage away from each other. It's pretty wild. Have you considered putting a bell on Daisy? She has some bracelets that jingle, so those work pretty well in a general room. She also really loves balloons, so we have tied a balloon to her before, which is also effective. Maybe less effective at Comic-Con with so many people and costumes that a balloon might not be enough. But that's why I say the leash may have to come out. We'll see how that goes. My favorite thing from last year, you're waving. That's nice of you. My favorite thing from last year is I turned around and Daisy was being held by Freddy Krueger. My child had no fear. Maybe she needs to learn a bit of stranger danger because perhaps we don't just crawl into the arms of one Monsieur Freddy Krueger. But I appreciate that she was open to meeting a little bit of everyone. There you go. It's not a leash, Jesse. It's a safety cord. Whatever terminology makes it work is fine with me. Oh man, we all wish the malls had the Disney stores. It's such a heartbreak that the Disney stores are gone because they were wonderful. Though I will say that the stuff that they carried after a while was not as good as it was when I was a kid, for sure.
Yeah. But Disney Online digs up stuff.
Oh yeah, they find
having
stuff.
A sale right now, and I
Trouble.
scrolled through everything just to see, and they're continuing to do Oswald merchandise.
Yeah, well, because
fun.
I mean, in part because of Disneyland.
Yeah,
or I should say at
California
Adventure. See, hi, DCA as they call it, Disney's California Adventure, DCA, because now you have to clarify which park you're at. I wish they still had the Warner Brothers store. Oh, don't bring that up.
Please.
Don't bring that up.
I'm in mourning for the Warner Brothers store and the Warner Brothers catalog.
What are you doing?
And they did wonderful stuff. And we have quite a lot of it.
We have a lot of it.
We also found out that they had an outlet store, a very unpublicized outlet store out at the Ontario Mills Mall, near Ontario Airport, which is a good hour's drive from here, or a bad hour's drive from here. And we went there several times. And one of the things they were liquidating was the unsuccessful line of Harry Potter merchandise. They made figures and figurines and stuff, and it didn't work.
Oh man, it was so good. It was so good. It's just fun. Again, it's general. It's when someone who loves something gets to make merch for it, you can tell the difference between somebody who's just been given an assignment.
Right.
You
Nick, you're right to blame AOL for that. I believe that is exactly who shut down the stores.
Damn them to hell, AOL. Bring back our stores. It was a blast. I will say that some of the stuff that Warner Brothers makes now is fun.
Yeah.
And because of the tour on the lot, they have more merchandise than ever.
Mm-hmm.
Really, that has brought a lot of it back. Yeah. We were on the lot the other day, the Disney lot, and going into that store, which is still there, I wanted to buy absolutely everything. I want you to know how hard I worked to not buy absolutely everything. I left with 2 items, which I think I deserve some kind of a medal for that one. She picked out a big Minnie Mouse plush because Minnie Mouse is her favorite. And I have to tell you, that brings me such joy that she loves Minnie Mouse as much as she does. That too it's kind of amazing, isn't it? Just how things can span. She really reacts to Minnie Mouse. And she's shown all kinds of things. It's not like we're strictly Disney in this household. She watches a lot, but she loves Minnie and Mickey.
Isn't that nice?
They just work. Love the documentary about Mary Astor so much that I watched Dodsworth for the first time.
Oh, well, that's a nice result. Dodsworth is a great film in my estimation. And my friend Alexa Foreman did a nice job on that documentary.
Oh, that's right. That was hers.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. I feel like there are a lot of really interesting docs happening right now.
Yeah.
There are a number of them that
including The League.
Yes.
Which is Sam Pollard's new film, which opened in some theaters, I believe, this past Friday, and it is going to video on demand next Friday, which is when we are also posting our conversation with him on our podcast.
Wasn't he yesterday's episode? Wasn't he Friday's episode?
You're right.
Yeah, it's up already. Yeah, Friday's episode with Sam Pollard. It's already up.
We've recorded several in a row, so
I don't ever know what day it is anyway, so I'm not very useful. But yeah, the Sam Pollard episode is up. He's fascinating. He's just fascinating and so much fun to talk to. Yeah, we talked a little bit about him last week. Editing on a Moviola, things like that. I have to tell you, because we mentioned the Warner Brothers store and Josh just joined us. We were talking earlier. There's a girl that we went to school with, my friend Josh and I went to school with, and she is next level wealthy and then married someone who is somehow more wealthy than that. And she tends to do things and make them sound normal when they are in fact not the least bit normal. And I bring this up because she just flew to Monte Carlo on a whim, as one does. And she posted about how her favorite travel suitcase, her carry-on, is a Louis Vuitton travel bag. And they just last forever. They're a great investment. It's only $5,500. To which Josh and I both said, we have duffel bags in our garage older than that, that have lived on. And I think of that because we have these 2 bags in particular. We have a couple of Warner Brothers bags, a couple of Disney bags that must be 30 years old.
The Mickey Mouse.
The duffels must be 30 years old.
We bought them in Florida. We bought them in Orlando.
And they've traveled all over the world. And they won't die. Nothing you can do could kill them. Honestly, I don't even know that a fire would have much of an effect. They will just live forever. So, invest in Louis Vuitton or just some really good duffel bags at the Disney store. Your call. Do you like the Minnie Mouse cartoons with Figaro? Oh, like the new ones? Yeah. Who doesn't love Figaro? How are we doing over here? Could you tell us about the supposed influence of the pulp magazine character, The Shadow, on Darkwing Duck, and a possible reboot of the character?
No, I can't. I'm sorry.
But I'll bet you we'll find out some things at Comic-Con if that is if it is going to happen. But it's Darkwing Duck obviously very much in that vein.
Yes, sure.
You know, very clearly in that
Walter
vein.
Gibson's The Shadow was the pulp magazine character who became one of the most famous and enduring characters to come out of radio, the medium of radio in the 30s and 40s. The opening was, "Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The shadow knows." And then a menacing laugh would follow. And one of the people who portrayed Lamont Cranston, who had the ability to cloud men's minds and become the shadow,
as one does,
was Orson Welles. And
Man.
his Girl Friday was played by Agnes Moorehead,
who is if you're not sure who that is, you will know her from Bewitched,
where she played Endora.
Hi, Stephen. Stephen Pless has joined us. He says you're great in the Warner doc, and he loved watching it.
Oh, thank you.
So many people are loving that Warner doc that Leslie Iwerks directed. We've talked about it, but I mean, you worked on it with her. You and several others worked on it with her for a long time, and really went deep with it. And I'm so glad that people are responding to it the way they are.
Yeah.
Because it was absolutely, a labor of love. What? You want more?
It's a 4-part documentary, and it's on Max. It's streaming on Max. What is Max? Don't blame me. It's the new streaming network that used to be
HBO Max, and then Max,
and now it's Max.
Because that's the thing we need. Josh says, if there's a SAG strike, I'm ready for You're Wrong, Leonard Maltin to be the centerpiece of Comic-Con. Can you imagine?
Yeah, well.
We do a panel every year at Comic-Con called You're Wrong, Leonard Maltin. It's something that I dreamt up some years ago. And the title of it is just something that I thought was really funny because it is something people say all the time when they're arguing. But I love the idea of actually getting to do it in person. And we're very clear when we do the panel that it's supposed to be fun and silly and nobody takes it seriously in the sense that, my dad is there to listen to your opinions. There's no fighting or yelling. It's a lot of fun and just very silly. But people line up and they talk about the different movies that they disagree with you on.
Yep.
Whether they like it and you don't, or you like it and they don't.
We have to divide our attention now between you folks.
Daisy walking.
You folks everywhere from Brazil and Germany to these United States. We'll just have to hold on a moment because
we're waiting for her to break something.
Yeah.
No, all right. We're not breaking anything right now. Let's give it a minute. Anyway, we started doing it some years. I mean, we've been doing it for a while. Yeah. And then we've done it at some film festivals.
I think by accident. They put us in a huge hall,
5,000 seats.
And what happens is
2,000 seats.
2,000. What happens at Comic-Con is some people go to a panel in order to get a seat for the next panel.
Yeah, or some people will just stay in one room all day.
Yeah,
because it's easier than trying to maneuver. So they will.
We don't flatter ourselves that everybody was there.
No, I don't think 2,000 people came out for us, but it was a blast. Normally the room we're in is almost 400 people, which is still amazing to me that it fills up. It's so cool. And this year we're on Friday at 4:00. It's 7 ABC, I think, is the room. You can look us up. And I'm so excited. I love doing this panel. And then you're on 3 others?
Well,
2 others?
The one
I have it all written down.
Animation Historians, that'll be on Thursday.
So Wednesday, the 19th at 8 p.m., you're doing Doug Loves Movies at the American Comedy Company, which is a cool comedy club in downtown San Diego. And you do it every year with Doug. We love Doug. Thursday at 2:30 p.m., you're doing the Animation Brain Trust, animation's most influential authors' top cartoons. Friday at 4 p.m. is our panel. You're Wrong, Leonard Maltin. Oh, it's room 23 ABC. And then Saturday, you're on a panel at 4:30 called History of Cartoon Voices. With, among others, Keith Scott from Australia. Our friend who we just mentioned. Who is so versatile. He's a wonderful mimic. Yeah.
and wonderful.
Yeah.
And you have to be a good actor to do this.
Yeah.
well.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Mel Blanc was a great actor. June Foray was a great actress. People don't think of them that way. They think of them
Yeah.
as just voice people, but they
it's a
didn't just
real
perform with their
skill.
voice. You know,
It's your whole body.
yeah, and your psyche,
Yeah.
uh, and uh, and Mel Blanc was a great singer too, and had to be,
Mm.
and he sang in all those voices.
I'm picturing the Frank Sinatra buh, 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 buh.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love it. Hi, Maltons. Glad to be back after I missed weeks of your live stream. What did you do? Have a life or something? My goodness. Anyway, are there any new films coming up that you are excited about? For me, I'm excited about Aardman Animation's Chicken Run sequel. I hope it's good. We love Aardman.
We love Aardman.
Aardman's so good. I love Aardman, and I really hope that it's good. I feel like Aardman isn't talked about enough, especially since with Chicken Run, it was the highest paying animated box office hit for over a decade and was the reason why an animated film category was added to the Oscars. It's mentioned in their documentary, A Grand Day In. I don't think they're solely the ones that brought that on for the Oscars. It was a conversation that was going on for a long time. But definitely when you make the kind of animated films that they make, and others, you can't ignore it. You know, they're just brilliant. And
I was lucky enough to meet Nick Park and Peter Lord early on. I think one of their first trips to LA. Got to interview them for Entertainment Tonight. Got to host an evening with them at the Academy, and I do believe I got a necktie out of that deal.
Did you?
Yeah, and Nick signed the necktie,
That's so
Wallace
cool.
and Gromit necktie.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Jonathan's bringing up Stan Freberg was great to play
Junior
Bear.
You bet.
We love Stan Freberg. We were so lucky to know him. I was so lucky to grow up with him. And yeah, his characters and voices were just some of the very, very best. I'm sorry, she's playing with coins. If this sound is annoying you, as it is annoying me, she's currently playing with coins. But if it's keeping her in one place, we're going to let it go. Would Mr. Maltin recommend watching the Whistler series of films?
You know, it's a B-movie series made at Columbia, based on a not very good radio show. In my opinion, the Whistler was made strictly for West Coast radio. This got a little bit into the weeds here, but
Slightly
with a
weedy.
3-hour time difference between New York and Los Angeles, everything was geared for the East Coast and the Midwest. So when Jack Benny did his show at 7:00 for New York and Chicago and all that, it was 4:00 here in LA. And then they had to do a repeat performance for the West Coast. This is before recording became practical and permissible. And so some people thought that the second performance was the looser, more enjoyable version. But and sometimes they would punch up jokes.
Yeah, of course.
Try to make improvements.
Of course.
So, and some people would imbibe. Some actors would, hoist a few.
It never hurts, does
during
it?
During that interregnum. But what was the point of my saying all this? The Whistler. The Whistler was a radio show that was done only for the West Coast, so they didn't pay as much for scripts. They didn't pay as much as Suspense or Escape, which were in the same general genre. And so I've never thought the Whistler lived up to its promise. It had a great theme song, which I could almost whistle for you.
I mean, it was called The Whistler, you'd hope. Oop.
I can't do it.
Can't do it. I don't even know if that's traveling.
No, never mind.
P.S. The way you know she's my daughter is she just came over to me with a bunch of tiny disco balls. That's my baby. Hi.
The Whistler movies are all feature Richard Dix, the handsome silent film star, now more of a character actor, about the 1940s. And they're okay. They're not great. They're okay.
No? Okay.
and they gave an opportunity to up and coming screenwriters and directors, and to up and coming actors too. So you'll see some familiar faces and read some familiar names in the credits.
What is she doing? Oi, sorry, Scott said, my husband, he says there are no flights till Tuesday.
Oh no!
So they're trying to figure out if they're gonna get a minivan and try to drive home all the guys. There's 5 of them trapped there.
Oh dear.
Good grief, Charlie Brown. Patrick Colin Jackson says, greetings, Leonard and Jessica. I appreciate the Jessica. No one calls me that. You can just call me Jessie. I don't think you've ever called me Jessica.
No.
Ever in the history of my lifetime.
Nope.
Only teachers and doctors have ever called me Jessica. First of all, many thanks for compiling the movie encyclopedia. I still have a copy, which both of you signed for me at the Beverly Garland Inn. Oh, that's so funny. While it hasn't been updated in 25 years or so, it remains among my most prized possessions. Second of all, have either of you seen 2000's Robin and the Dreamweavers by Mr. Filmation Scheimer? If so, what did you think of it?
I have not seen it.
Which brings me to the third of all. I love sharing various movies with friends, particularly fan films, Star Wars, Star Trek, etc., but also direct-to-video films and made-for-TV films. That's because reviews of those are often hard to find. Frankly, Leonard, your movie guide was never the same after the 1995 edition, since most of the made-for-TV and direct-to-TV were deleted. There was just no more room was the problem.
Space.
The book was too big for how many years? Every year they said, we can't make it any bigger. We don't know what to do.
Yeah.
We were printing on Bible paper. This is not a joke. That's how thin it had to get at a certain point to be able to hold together. Their concern was the binding was going to come apart because the book was so big. So yeah, we tried our best. Did your team review Sound of Freedom?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Sean says, hello, Leonard and Jessica. Again, I appreciate the thought. You don't have to call me Jessica. I would like to first say thank you for your contributions to cinema. You're welcome. It's all me, right? It's all him. In particular, the Walt Disney On the Front Lines DVDs. Tremendous insight. Second, do you think James Whale changed the scope of Frankenstein from the novel so drastically because of his inability to come to grips with his closeted sexuality? You guys went hard today. Hence adding in the line about being God that was censored for a few decades. Or did Universal Studios make those changes based on other reasons? Thanks again for all you do.
Well, I don't know who to credit or blame for the adaptation of Mary Shelley. The screenwriter is credited, and I don't recall there being any huge debate or reading about any huge debate. So I'm not qualified. I have friends who are qualified, more than qualified, to discuss that kind of a question in depth, and but I'm not it.
Well, there you go.
I love the movie as is.
Do you have a favorite movie from Studio Ghibli? Ghibli.
Oh, well, I like Howl's Moving Castle a lot.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
Hi.
And someday we'll get to show it to her.
Oh, yeah. Yes. We tried to watch a Minions movie last night, and about 3 minutes in, she was like, I'm going to go play house, and left. So I gave it my all. Jim Batts, hello from St. Lou. The movie that I love sharing with friends is what I asked everyone today. What do you love sharing with your friends? Is The Iron Giant. Yes. I took several pals to see it in the summer of 1999. I still believe that it was a gold year, like 1939 for Hollywood studios, since we also had Toy Story 2, Disney's Tarzan, and the South Park feature. Has 1 year since had such a great roster?
No, I don't think any recent year has been particularly noteworthy.
No.
Every year I'm left.
Hey.
Every year I struggle to fill a 10 best list.
Yeah, you really do.
Yeah.
More now than ever, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Up. Hi. Hi.
Although with the length of the movies that are coming out this year.
What on
And
earth?
more to come. I heard Oppenheimer is 3 hours.
It is. We looked it up.
And
3 hours.
And Killers of the Flower Moon
Yeah.
is over 4.
Yeah. Have you read Mark Seale's book, Leave the Gun, Take the Cannoli?
Yes.
What did you think of it?
Oh,
You like it?
really good.
Yeah.
Really good. And it verified a lot of the material that was in that miniseries, The Offer, which was Albert Ruddy's story of his involvement with The Godfather.
Mm-hmm. That's so funny. I revisited The World of Henry Orient on YouTube.
Oh, I haven't seen that in
Peter
ages.
Sellers had an amazing 1964, including Shot on the Dark, The Pink
Shot in the
Panther.
Dark.
They were on the dark. The Pink Panther and Dr. Strangelove. Really dodged the Academy had really. I think he just does a mistake. The Academy had to award his career best year. I don't know what it's trying to say. Any performer you think needed a particular revote?
Well, Peter Sellers was brilliant.
Oh,
No one would debate that.
Mm-hmm.
And I love him in Dr. Strangelove. And I've always liked the World of Henry Orient, but I haven't seen it in many a year.
Vincent saying Killers of the Flower Moon is 3 hours and 26 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Oh,
Thank you for that.
What are you doing? Sorry, guys. They say my mom's not feeling well. So
When is
Daisy
the right
our
time to show
menace.
children stronger material?
Oof. Well,
That depends on your child.
yeah.
Only
very
you
much
know
so.
your child.
Yep.
Jesse was a very sensitive,
I'm a very sensitive child.
very sensitive child. And when she was 5 when Disney's Beauty and the Beast came out, and we took her to see it, and she was scared by the
Scared
beast.
the crap out of
She
me.
was scared when the dogs were jumping up,
Yeah.
you know, on the castle
Yeah.
wall. Everything scared her. But that was also, we realized, in a movie theater, in a big,
Yeah.
dark space,
Scary.
you know, as opposed to sitting at home with her parents in the living room or in the bedroom. And so that's a big consideration. You can show your kids some things at home where they feel safe and protected.
And this is also why, more theaters are doing kid versions of screenings, which is to say that they'll have the lights turned up a little bit. They won't
Mhm.
make it as loud. They've really, I think a lot of theaters have thought about this
Yeah.
and realized that if it is specifically for kids, they need it to be a bit gentler. They're called gentle screenings.
Uh-huh.
They're called gentle screenings. They also do this on Broadway a bit.
Yeah.
They do it for people who are autistic.
Uh-huh.
They have certain performances like that so that it means everybody can enjoy something,
Mhm.
which I think is such a considerate and lovely thing to do, to find a way to make it work for everybody,
Mhm.
and I think a lot of people appreciate it. I do.
So anyway, when is the right time? You have to know.
Yeah.
You have to figure out when is the right time.
Yeah.
And Jesse will, to this day, will not see any movie with an animal in peril.
Even animated.
And even if I can tell her and reassure her that the outcome is positive, that no one gets hurt.
Nope. Don't care. I find it too upsetting. I know this about myself. I just don't like to see animals get hurt. It makes me too upset. We are all now more sensitive to anything happening to kids.
Babies in
because
particular.
We have this monster in the house. So my parents watched something and I forget what it was. Was it Roma? Was that one of the first?
No.
No, I'm saying Roma. There was a really big movie that came out and it had something like that in it. And you and mommy both really struggled. You've had this several times with a few films, depending on what's going on in your life. But yeah, your kid. If your kid is not really bothered by certain things, then they might not have a problem. It's also case by case, isn't it? Depending on the film. My dad used to decide what I could see. If he felt that something was PG-13, but it wasn't going to bother me, I could see that. Especially because I saw stuff at film festivals where there was no rating discussion.
Yeah.
Things didn't usually have their R or their PG or whatever yet. So my dad would decide, this sounds like something you can handle. Or he'd ask other people if they'd seen it. Do you think this is right for her?
She wanted to see American Pie
I did.
when it opened.
I did.
And I saw it like a week before it opened.
I'll say I was 12. So it wasn't that. Yeah. It was a PG-13 movie. I was 12 years old.
And I decided she could see it.
Yep.
And the reason I decided that is I felt that she was mature enough to handle it, and also that it had a moral, if you will. They wouldn't call it that. I wouldn't call it that either. But the lesson, the life lesson it taught, is that sex without love is kind of empty. That if you're having sex with someone, it ought to be as a result of being in love.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a good message to send to my daughter.
Ay. Alan says, happy Sunday, Maltons. Happy Sunday to you, Alan. Did you know that Walter Lantz made cartoon commercials to be played in the theaters for Coca-Cola? They all feature mini fairy tales like Red Riding Hood and Alibaba. They are regular short cartoons that end with the characters drinking Coca-Cola. I have them on a Blu-ray called 4K Drive-In Intermission from Drive-In Film.
Whoops.
I got it. Did you know all of those things? What?
If I knew it, I forgot it.
There you go.
And I think I have that content on a CD-ROM, which I can't play anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
But good reminder.
Yeah. Steve says, spread the word about the new Soundies Ultimate Collection coming in a few weeks from Kino. A new 4-disc Blu-ray collection of 200 restored shorts. Can't wait.
I am eagerly awaiting that release, and but I want to see for myself before I recommend it.
Yeah.
I mean, Kino does releases wonderful stuff and a wonderful variety of stuff, but I've been disappointed with some of the Soundies that I've seen on TCM, for instance, recently.
What has disappointed you?
The physical quality.
Okay.
The actual pictorial quality and sound. I produced 4 VHS tapes of Soundies in the early 90s, I think, for BMG Music, because a pal of mine was a vice president at BMG, and he said, you should do the, he'd seen this stuff. He used to come to my basement in Teaneck, New Jersey, and watch films that I collected. And he said, these are out of copyright. Why don't you do a collection of these and introduce them? So I did. And they sent them out to a sound engineer who cleaned them up. So they're the best audio I've ever heard. And we had mostly original prints, not dupes. And so that was pretty darn good quality. But then they BMG, it's a music company, and they put out laser discs under their RCA label, but they wouldn't put out these. I was so annoyed, and apparently I still am.
Yeah, there's not always logic, is there?
No.
Ryan's asking, do you have more Kino or Criterion Blu-rays? I don't know. A lot of both. A lot of both of them. Several people, when I asked, who do you love to share, who and what do you love to share with friends, said Buster Keaton. And I mean, you can't go wrong, can you? It is fascinating to see little kids and who of the silence they react to. Because obviously for a kid who's used to seeing stuff, because nowadays TV is so bombastic.
Yeah.
In every way, so many colors, so much noise, everything.
Noise?
Yeah. There's so much that goes on. And it's kind of, I think it would probably be a bit of a shock to the system to then go to not just black and white, but silent. What happened? Was it terrible? Do you need assistance?
Mind you, she's smiling as she's
smiling as she's pretending to cry and handing me these poor Barbie dolls that have seen better days. Hey,
it's like a sun shower. The sun is shining.
Where is your nose? Where could it be? Where is your nose? Point to it with me. She's pointing at the doll's nose.
Good.
More? You keep going. I'm going to focus on this. Where are your eyes? Where could they be? Where are your eyes?
The camera should really be on the kid.
Point to them with me.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
Good job. Good job. Will be interesting how kids adjust with so much short form content. Where is your nose? Where could it be?
Good correction, Craig.
Where
Thank you.
is your nose?
American Pie was rated
Come
R.
to it with me.
And I said to Jesse, how are you going to get in to see the movie? It's,
Me and my friend Aaron, he and I went, and we got tickets for a different film,
I
and
got
we
tickets for
snuck in.
I got tickets for Stuart Little too, I think.
Something like that.
And snuck into the multiplex.
Yep, it's the only time I ever did that, and I was terrified the entire time because I was a kid who always followed rules. But Aaron was like, "No, I've done it before; it'll be fine." I was terrified the entire time, absolutely terrified the entire time, Days, because I thought I was going to get in trouble because that's how my brain works. Why are we yelling? Have you caught up with Asteroid City yet? Yes, he did.
Yes.
Hey.
Yes.
Yes, Life with a Toddler. You're not kidding. Why are we yelling? Asteroid City.
Asteroid City, one of the strangest films I've ever seen.
Hey,
I run hot and cold with Wes Anderson's work. Like I love Rushmore.
why are we yelling?
That's, I liked Bottle Rocket when it launched his career, and I loved Rushmore. And since then, it's on and off. I think his best film of recent years is, maybe ever, is The Grand Budapest Hotel. That to me is close to a masterpiece, and it's such a rich film. And he even edited an anthology of writings by the Viennese author Stefan Zweig, who inspired The Grand Budapest Hotel. And I read that anthology and I loved it. But Asteroid City it's so artificial and deliberately stylized is the euphemism for artificial here. It's so stylized. I don't know if there's a genuine moment in the movie. If there is, it probably belongs to Tom Hanks, who plays a grandfather awaiting the arrival of his three young granddaughters who are traveling with their father, Jason Schwartzman, through the American desert. It's a frustrating film in a lot of ways. It has wonderful cast, great production design by Oscar-winning production designer Adam Stockhausen, who did Grand Budapest Hotel also. And what else can I say about it? It's very Wes Anderson.
My mother really hated it. That's what I can say about it. My mother really hated it.
It's very Wes Anderson.
I just put on Bluey in hopes that will help her scream slightly less. I love Bluey. I've said it a million times, and I'll say it more. You usually love Bluey too. Daisy needs a Stetson hat. She could always, I do believe at some point we'll get her fully cowboyed out with all of our friends who love that kind of stuff. I imagine it will happen in the not too distant future. Though now it would just go in her mouth because that's where all things still go. What's frustrating about the movie? What's frustrating, as he says, is just that he wanted to like it and didn't. That's frustrating. Did you find the French Dispatch annoying? I did, says Doug.
Again, frustrating is the word I would use. Not so much annoying as frustrating. Wanting to like it, looking at the work and the creativity and the imagination that went into it, plus the execution of all those sets and all those shots.
So many talented people in front and behind.
Yeah.
And it's just like, so it's disappointing when they aren't good because you know that there's just so much there, wasted opportunity. I enjoy Wes Anderson simply for the quirky characters. Yeah, well, and that's his thing. Obviously, that is his shtick. I understand, and that's just kind of some things work and some things don't.
Yeah.
Also, of course, he does what he does, and for some people, they find it annoying that that's just sort of what he does. I am looking forward to Barbie. If you're asking about that, I'm looking forward to Barbie. My fingers are crossed. I do have 2 friends who've seen it and they liked it, so I'm really hoping.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
I don't know anybody who's gotten to see Oppenheimer yet. So I really don't know where that one's going to stand, but it'll be interesting. I liked Moonrise Kingdom too, for Wes Anderson. I did like that movie. I thought that was a good one. Are you going to go to the screening?
Yeah.
I can't go. Well, lucky you. He's going Tuesday night then. He's going to see Oppenheimer Tuesday.
No.
That
week from.
No, I thought it was this week. You sure?
Yeah.
It's on a Tuesday though. I don't know. Because I got invited to it's the one at Universal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. I think it's this week. Anyway. Let me see if there's anything else that I'm missing for you guys question-wise. Nick says, if Disney Plus asked you, would you be interested in doing an introduction for the 1973 theme park film, The Walt Disney Story, among other things?
Well, sure.
Yeah. He'd do any of them. Disney Plus is where he ought to be. Disney just doesn't seem to realize that, which is super fun and just typical them. That's kind of all you can really say.
I never met Leonard Bernstein. Someone just asked that question. I wish I had.
If only, right?
I dined in a restaurant at the same time as him one night in New York years and years ago, and that was intimidating.
I'll bet.
Because it was a big
Was
open
he watching
restaurant,
you chew?
a big open restaurant on 79th Street called Tony's, old-fashioned Italian restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
And there were no dark corners. There were no booths. Just a big, well-lit room.
Yeah.
Filled with people, including right over there, Leonard and Felicia Bernstein.
That's nuts.
And Betty Comden and Adolph Green.
Nuts.
And
Nuts.
And Phyllis Newman, Adolph's wife.
Jeez.
And we're all sat up a little straighter.
You have to. Well, that's, one of the years at Comic-Con, we got invited to eat. Was it Nobu that we were at? Where like every single famous person was sitting around where we were.
Yep.
And I couldn't for the life of me stop. I just kept going. Because everywhere you turned was somebody else.
Yeah.
And you can't help it. They're all right there. I forget who we were with. I can't even, it's because it's been too long. But just sitting there and sort of staring and going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I don't think we'll ever forget the experience actually at that Hollywood Awards that first time.
Oh yeah.
That we went, which was we were on the red carpet trying to sort of go in. And it was like everywhere you turned, there was someone famous.
It was dizzying.
And it was just like really overwhelming because you turn around and this person's behind you and then this person's behind, and then this person's behind. And it just like, you just kept kind of like, so many. It's not normal, And very overwhelming. Yes, you brought another one.
I brought another of the Vernon Kilns statues.
I'm a fan of her bustle situation.
Yeah.
The bustle does it for me.
Now, what's interesting about this one, I told you, if you've been following along,
you've been following the Vernon Kilns
all
series.
of these were done, released and issued in 1940-41. And they represent films of that period. This does not. This is Evelyn Venable, beautiful actress, later married the cameraman or cinematographer Hal Moore, and became a professor at UCLA, second career. And she was the voice of the Blue Fairy in Walt Disney's Pinocchio, which was a 1940 release. But this is not her as the Blue Fairy. It's just her. And it's sculpted by Janice Pettit, like all the others. This is copyright 1940 by Vernon Figures Limited. So, I don't know. If you look up Evelyn Venable, you'll undoubtedly read that she was the model for the Columbia logo, the Columbia lady with the torch.
The one that people think is Annette Bening.
Another popular theory.
Yes.
And that's all they are, theories.
Yeah, that's it.
Theories and rumors.
But sometimes it's just fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just fun. It doesn't hurt. As long as it's not hurting anyone, it's just fun.
Right.
And that's okay. Was the model of Columbia's Statue of Liberty logo. Yep. Several people are asking if that's who she, that's so funny. trying to think in terms of several people are saying, are there any Buster Keatons that you haven't seen that you'd like to see? Is there anything that you haven't seen that you'd like to see?
Well, I don't think I've seen the film he made in France, the King of the Champs-Élysées, in its entirety. Just seen clips. These are not good films. These are,
they're just rare.
Yeah.
That's the tricky thing when you're dealing with certain film folks, is that even if it's terrible, they want to see it because it's rare, and that way they can say they have, which I get. Everybody's got their thing, right? Everybody's got their thing, and sometimes that's just someone's thing. Oh, that's funny. Is Jessie a good singer? You talked about going to musical theater and all that sort of stuff.
She is.
This is one of those things where I think I'm not supposed to say anything.
Yeah.
I am.
You don't have
fine.
to. I can vouch for the fact.
Thank you.
I can vouch for the fact that she has a beautiful voice.
Thank you.
Always has.
Well, we had fun though. I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Because my parents love musical theater and again jazz and stuff like that. The fact that it was something that we all bonded over helped. We love listening to stuff in the car.
I forgot something else I was going to show.
Yeah.
We were with someone last night who collects high-end autographed items, and he was showing me a George Gershwin
You can say that it
inscription.
You can say it was Feinstein.
We were with Michael Feinstein last night.
Yeah.
And his husband Terrence, and they're wonderful hosts, gracious hosts. And Michael is an avid collector of stuff, mostly dealing with music and movies too.
Mm-hmm.
And his hero is George Gershwin, in part because he worked for Ira Gershwin, who survived his brother by decades, and he was kind of an assistant and archivist for Ira.
And he did a beautiful job. I mean, he really, he's a big part of why a lot of things have survived.
Yes.
He's also, we've mentioned before, he takes care of a number of older actors / performers, including Liza Minnelli. He really takes care of her and makes sure that she's all right and she's supported, in the sense that, they'll take her out to dinner and make sure that she's still sort of in the world. As you get older, you need people who want to make sure that your life stays full, otherwise it's very easy to not be able to do those things.
Mm-hmm.
And she is still so famous that it's not exactly like she could sort of just walk out. He's a wonderful man.
Well, speaking of famous, this is a leather-bound book of commemorating a service for Noel Coward, Westminster Abbey, 28th of March, 1984. Sir Noel Coward, a celebration and unveiling of a memorial stone at Westminster Abbey. That doesn't happen just every day.
No.
Or every year.
No.
And there's an insert page here, which is signed by Anna Neagle, one of the most popular film leading ladies in England, and
Joyce Carey.
Mm-hmm. Joyce Carey, who wrote a movie that Alec Guinness directed. Never mind. Richard Attenborough.
He has a beautiful signature.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. I'll show it in just a second. I think that's John Mills.
Yeah, it is.
And Evelyn Leigh, Phoebe, Penelope Keith. These are all great stars.
Graham.
Yeah.
Is that Tame? This is the one that's Sir Richard Attenborough. Beautiful.
Later,
signature.
Lord Attenborough.
Yes. I love seeing people's penmanship. It's one of my favorite things because penmanship used to be quite important.
Yeah.
And the way people wrote letters, it mattered. This is the front of it. But it really, really mattered. And people took great pride in having beautiful penmanship. So I love seeing signatures and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's art. It's artwork. Joyce Carey wrote The Horse's Mouth.
That's the one.
There you go.
Thank you, Craig. Again.
I love the PBS specials with Feinstein seeking out older sheet music and transcriptions re the Great American Songbook. Man, I'll tell you, I was looking through, as we know, my dad has a lot of books, and some of those books have made it into my room because they just need a place to live. And so he's put mostly the music and art books down there, as it is something that I like. And Daisy was pulling out my big old Great American Songbook, and I just thought, geez, this used to be, we used to go through those all the time. So I started taking voice lessons in 7th grade. I was in choir very young. I always loved the arts and music and all that. But once I started seeing Thea Kano and then Calvin and all these different people, they'd pull out these Great American Songbooks, and they're just, it doesn't get better, really. And everything kind of comes back to these songs. And there's some that are very complicated, some that are very simple. And it's just amazing what people, it's amazing what people have written through the years.
Yep.
And the fact that so much of it is still used in different scenarios, whether it's covered constantly just because it's a popular.
Oh, well, listen,
you know?
the needle drops in Asteroid City are voluminous, mostly Western stuff. A lot of Gene Autry, Slim Whitman, Tex Ritter. You know.
It's Tex Ritter, who, just to remind, some people don't remember, but Tex Ritter is John Ritter's dad and Jason Ritter's grandpa. So it's not just that Jason Ritter doesn't just have his dad, those genes, but he's also got Tex Ritter as a grandpa. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You gotta love the family stuff. Staying in the family. Didn't Feinstein host the 2006 Soundies doc that Maltin was in?
Why? Yes.
Yeah, that's you've known Michael a long
time.
I remember when he gave us when he did the kids CD, and I remember listening to that over and over and over and over and over again because it's wonderful. Learning all those songs. Oh, there's my husband. Was Mr. Maltin ever part of SAG as part of Gremlins? So there's something called Taft-Hartley. Basically, you have
Work 30 days.
You can work a total of 30 days before having to join the union of that thing. So whether you're working 30 days doing wardrobe, costumes, makeup, anything that is normally a job that requires being in the union, you have 30 days. Once you hit that 30, you must join. If you do not hit that 30, you can sort of work without it. So you've had several threats at different points.
No, at one point they garnished a check that I was on a TV show that was videotaped, and I thought it was an after show, which is my longtime union.
Which is your union, yes.
And it turned out it was a Screen Actors Guild show.
There was something, yeah.
Anyway, they said, you have to join the union now. And I said, I'm not an actor.
No.
I don't aspire to be an actor.
No.
I would never take an actor's job away from him or her.
Nope.
I don't see the point. And I wouldn't qualify for your health and
there'd be no point because he would not be able to make the dues because he's not an actor.
We call the détente.
Yeah.
And then I found out the naked truth, which is that I could do a SAG show.
You should have to pay
if they pay a penalty.
Yeah. And at the time it was like $500. It was a really minimal fee, all things considered. And you go, so we can avoid all of this if someone just pays $500 and then we don't have to worry about it. There's always a loophole. There's always a loophole, and it's usually a monetary loophole. If you
follow
notice.
the money.
Follow the money, right? Oh man. Thank you guys as always for joining us. I think we're going to miss you the next 2 weeks because my dad's going to be in San Francisco and then we're going to be at Comic-Con. We may come back Saturday night instead of Sunday for Comic-Con, but I don't know yet. But either way, we'll be checking in with everybody. And you'll be sharing your San Francisco adventures.
Yes.
And then we'll be sharing our Comic-Con adventures. Please let me know if you're going to be at Comic-Con or San Francisco. Let us know. We'd love to see you. Thank you for being patient today as we've had Daisy running around, such is having a small human in the house. Everybody take care. And we'll speak to you
and
soon.
be kind.
Bye. Bye, Days. Bye bye. Bye bye.